Group of syringes. Wooden group. Blood. Bow. Metal tool. To the chemistry lab. To the... As Elian suspected, there's a lab here with many substances and tools, even the ones used for torture and restraint. Elian wonders where his equipment is, but the fear the vampire might return is strong enough to make him desist from wasting time searching. You have reached to the hidden to the entrance. Finally, the light of the sky is visible in the path. Elian has almost made it. The woman You have reached to the cliff, to the camp, to the cliff. She stopped. Amelia. Elian turns toward her to ask what's wrong. What he sees is an amused expression of Amelia's, who suddenly grabs him and violently slams him into the ground. As she starts to laugh non-stop, her voice and her looks are beginning to distort. That was an illusion. Actually, she was Deus in disguise. She just wanted to make fun of him. She immediately restrains him again and drags him back to the torture chamber, as Elian screams in anger and desperation. Deus is still laughing while she restrains Elian with the chains of the room. She says that watching a light turning on inside his eyes, just to make it disappear at the climax, was simply priceless. The whole performance was totally worth the effort. Elian doesn't immediately understand what Deus means by performance. She chuckles as she sees his expression. She goes behind Elian and pushes him against the floor. Then she sits on his back. From that position, she leans her mouth near to his ear and whispers to him that what she means is that she placed clue after clue, day after day, a flow of information in such a way that Elian would think that he could have a chance to escape. She points toward the syringes and tells him that it was just bait. She still has a lot of them, and actually she really doesn't need holy water to play with him. It was just an experiment to see the effects of holy water on a Dhampir for torture purposes. She's also a scientist after all, as he could see in the other room. It almost seems like Deus is able to read Elian's thoughts, and that's exactly what she whispers to him. Her power has the capability to read the rational thoughts of intelligent creatures. She says that she already knows everything about him, about Amelia, the crew, and she tells him that no one will come to save him, and he will never escape from here. Finally, Deus calls him by name. Elian. He has no word to say. He just lies there, with his face on the ground. She reaches with her arm into the case of metal tools and picks some of them. Just for starters, she wants to play a bit with his back. Then they will start with the daily program. Will the torture ever end? Elian must get ready to resist now. He has no more blood vials. He has no more blood vials. Double tap to continue. After a while, she's satisfied and gets up from Elian. He realizes that he was just dancing in the palm of her hand. He's lost any hope of escaping from here. Deus kneels with both knees on the floor and lifts Elian. Both her hands hold his lower jaw. Both her thumbs are placed at the corners of his mouth. She's looking him straight in the eyes. Deus tells Elian that he doesn't have to worry. Not everything was a performance. Words and rational thoughts have no value. All that really counts are feelings and desires, which is exactly what she can't see with her powers. Her voice wavers slightly. Deus tells Elian that this is what she really wants to know. She wants to know Elian, who he really is, his feelings, his desires, the real Elian. Deus stops to speak. There's a long silence in the room. She lowers her arms, that slowly lie above her knees. Then she gets closer to Elian. Her mouth is once more next to his ear, and then, with a timid voice, she says to Elian, "Please, tell me who you really are." Elian listens to Deus. She's different. Her neck is a few centimeters from his mouth. Swipe left to bite. Swipe right to not bite. Driven by mere instinct, suddenly he bites the neck of Deus. This is something that she can't see with her powers. Elian starts to suck her blood greedily. She gives off a jolt. His energy quickly returns, actually even more so. With sudden force, Elian breaks the chains. He stands up with Deus. He won't stop sucking her blood. It's too delicious. A bloodlust frenzy from inside dominates his thoughts and his actions. In his excitement, he lifts her, holding her back with the left arm and her left leg with the other hand, and leans Deus against the wall on the other side. As Elian keeps draining her blood, she hugs him with all her strength, rather than trying to fight him. She's filled with joy. She says that it's such a magnificent answer. So this is what's inside him. His true colors. She accepts him with all her being and begs him to do the same with her. She adds that he will be her prisoner forever. Saying that, Deus leans her lips towards the space between his neck and his left shoulder and marks it with a passionate bite. With her last strength, she pulls the lever next to her. A pit opens in the ground, and Deus drags Elian with her inside the pit. It is a long fall in the dark. Elian suddenly returns to normal and feels the body of Deus tightly holding him, as if to protect Elian from the fall. But this place is really too dark. The first thing that comes into his mind is a place of which he just heard about, the so-called Caves of the Abyss. A huge system of caves in which darkness dominates everything. A place in which there's no way to see anything, in which there's no life inside it, and where any conventional method of orientation fails. A terrible place, in other words, even if no one who entered inside it ever returned. Elien is preparing for the worst. He's without his equipment, yet he can count on the excess blood that he sucked from Deus. He managed to transfer it into 3 blood vials, right before his greedy and unknown side would absorb it completely inside the body. Aside from that, he will have to count on his claws and fangs. After a long fall, Elien lands on a pile of something. Bones. It didn't hurt much thanks to Deus. Her corpse lies in Elien's arms and turns into ash. She had the holy symbol, just as he thought. He takes it and wears it as a necklace. This place is so dark that there's no way to get one's bearings inside it with your eyes. Elien barely stands up on his feet, and suddenly a familiar voice starts to whisper in his ear. "It's her! Deus!" But Elien is absolutely sure she's dead. He must be having some kind of a hallucination. There are other voices in the distance. The place is probably populated by monsters. You have reached Cave of the Abyss. Pile of saving point. You saved the game. Pile of bones. It's a very large pile. With his hands he can sense that they are human bones. He can even feel some pieces of flesh still attached. But there's no trace of bugs, like flies. Perhaps they are all the victims of Deus, which have been tossed from that pit. Ceiling. Raising his head, Elien can see a very small, weak light. That must be where he fell from. It seems very distant. North exit. East, south, west, saving point. You saved the game. Pile of bones. It's a very... Raising his head, Elien can see a very small, weak light. Saving. You saved the game.